Welcome back to Counterpoint. We're continuing our discussion with Angelina Ireland, who is president of Delta Hospice Society. And Angelina, again, I welcome you back to the show. We've had you on a few times, but every single time we have you on, there's like a new twist and turn in your legal case. So you don't have a bricks and mortar building. However, you continue offering palliative services. You have these do not euthanize kits, but you also support persons by telephone. How does that work?
Yeah, so we have a toll-free number nationwide, 1-800-232-1589. We have spoken to many people over the years, and we believe we have a pretty good sense of what's going on in this country when it comes to healthcare and it comes to euthanasia. We put the Do Not Euthanize advance directives into people's hands. We put the declarations into people's hands. We try to make sure that they can find places that can at least try to offer authentic palliative care. Regardless of where they live, we try to push, doctors and nurses to provide authentic health care. But what we know for sure is that as the years go by, there are fewer and fewer places to hide, and soon there will be no place to hide from the euthanasia program they call MAID. What we want to do is we want to ensure that the Canadian people have alternatives, that they have options. And that is how we've come to our movement for sanctuary.
Yeah, so tell us about your search for sanctuary. What is the sanctuary that you want to establish?
Right. So we need places in this country that are safe places for people who do not want to be killed by the state. That's what MAID is. Let's be very clear about that. We have to, develop places where people can go to get authentic care, health care, until their natural end.
So are
And
people
so
fearful right now that if they're going into long-term care or into hospital that they will inadvertently end up euthanized, dead, or that they may have they may be coerced into it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. People are afraid. And we have spoken to many people across this country over the years who are deathly afraid, particularly if they're elderly, if they're infirm. In British Columbia alone, I'll tell you that the average age for mating somebody is 77.
Wow.
That, over 80% of the people mated are over 65. Yes, they're afraid. I believe that they probably should be. We need sanctuary in this country. We need places where people can go, where MAID will not be discussed.
Okay,
And
so how do
all
you
of those
set that
kinds of
up?
places.
Because how would you set that up, considering, look, what they did in with the Delta Hospital, with your case, right? So how
Yeah,
does that
yeah.
look?
Well, it looks like, we are in discussion with our lawyer. What we want to do is we want to buy a property. This will be very much old school in terms of a home hospice model. We will have a house. It will be retrofitted with rooms to be able to take care of people. It will be outside of the public healthcare system. It will be private. It will be members of our organization. We are a member-driven organization. Membership is $10 for all of those people who want to join the Delta Hospice Society. And we will offer care. Whether or not the government can come in and expropriate those assets, close us down because we want to offer sanctuary to the dying, will likely end up in the Supreme Court of Canada.
Right.
And we will take that challenge. We absolutely will, because we know that people like Dying with Dignity Canada are going after every single place. They're going after the religious exemption so that faith-based organizations will not be allowed to be sanctuaries. They're pushing these things through the courts. And soon we see again in Quebec, as in British Columbia, there will be no place for people to hide. So, this is a grassroots movement that, people who are concerned will start to set up their own sanctuaries and take care of their neighbors, their friends, their families. This is the future in this country.
And you're going to start with one, but I assume you envision rolling this out coast to coast to coast?
Absolutely. We will be the first. We plan to be the first to create the model, and we will help other communities to create their own places. This is the most insidious program in the history of our country, where sick and vulnerable people are literally being culled. I have called it the Canadian cull. The sick, the old, the vulnerable are being told, just kill yourself. It's unacceptable. The Canadian people will not stand for it, regardless of what the state is doing. But it's going to have to come from us, grassroots efforts to protect each other.
Okay, we're going to pick up this discussion in our last segment in just a few moments.